Today, let's review about absolute value. As you can see, we have two vertical lines. This is what we call the absolute value bars. Any number that goes inside the absolute value bars is called an argument. To put it simply, absolute value is just finding how far a number is from 0. Take note that positive and negative integers take the same value. So if we have absolute value positive 3 and absolute value negative 3, they have the same value, which is 3. Because positive 3 is 3 units away from 0 and negative 3 is also 3 units away from 0. Take note that the absolute value is either positive or equal to 0, and it is never negative. Also, absolute value bars do not function as parentheses and brackets. In our first example, let us find the value of each expression. In our first example, we have the absolute value of negative 12, which is 12. And the absolute value of 5 is 5. The absolute value of negative 9 is 9. And lastly, the absolute value of 19 is 19. As you can see, all our answers are positive and not negative. Now, let us compare these expressions using greater than, less than, and equal sign. In our first example, we have negative absolute value of negative 47 and negative absolute value of 22. Again, remember that absolute value bars do not function as parentheses and brackets. So the first thing that we are going to do is to evaluate their absolute value. So the absolute value of negative 47 is 47. Don't forget to copy their negative sign. Next, we have negative absolute value of 22. The absolute value of 22 is 22. Don't forget to copy the negative sign. Now, let us compare. Which is greater, negative 47 or negative 22? Negative 22. So our answer for this expression is negative 47 is less than negative 22. Next, we have negative absolute value of 26 and negative absolute value of negative 26. So we will be doing the same thing we did in example 1. So the absolute value of 26 is 26. Don't forget to copy the negative sign. Next, the absolute value of negative 26 is 26. Don't forget to copy the negative sign. So negative 26 and negative 26. So are they greater than, less than, or equal? Equal. So the answer for this expression is negative absolute value of 26 is equal to negative absolute value of negative 26. Let's find the value of each expression. In our first example, we have absolute value of negative 12 plus absolute value of negative 15. So the absolute value of negative 12 is 12. Just copy their operation. And the absolute value of negative 15 is 15. So 12 plus 15 is equal to 27. So the answer to absolute value of negative 12 plus absolute value of negative 15 is 27. Next, we have absolute value of negative 9 minus absolute value of 25. The absolute value of negative 9 is 9. Copy the operation. And the absolute value of 25 is 25. So 9 minus 25 is equal to negative 16. So the answer to the absolute value of negative 9 minus absolute value of 25 is negative 16. Next, we have absolute value of 4 times absolute value of negative 9. So the absolute value of 4 is 4. Copy the operation. And the absolute value of negative 9 is 9. And 4 times 9 is equal to 36. So the absolute value of 4 times the absolute value of negative 9 is equal to 36. Next, we have absolute value of negative 25 divided by absolute value of 5. So the absolute value of negative 25 is 25. Copy the operation. And the absolute value of 5 is 5. So 25 divided by 5 is equal to 5. So the absolute value of negative 25 divided by the absolute value of 5 is equal to 5. In our last example, we have the absolute value of negative 8 minus 4 divided by the absolute value of negative 3 times 2. The first thing that we are going to do is to simplify the absolute value of negative 8 minus 4, which is negative 12. So we have the absolute value of negative 12 divided by the absolute value of negative 3 times 2. The absolute value of negative 12 is equal to 12. And the absolute value of negative 3 is 3. Copy the operation times 2. So we have 12 divided by 3 times 2 is equal to 6. And 12 divided by 6 is equal to 2. So the answer to the absolute value of negative 8 minus 4 divided by the absolute value of negative 3 times 2 is equal to 2. And that is all for today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.